I spent my moments talking to myself. Who am I? That took me into deeper things about who am I? I'm so busy doing. Have I really spent the time to really look in that mirror, literally and figuratively, to know who I am? Well, when I figured out what colors I wanted and I was feeling better, I went to the linen store. Right there was what I wanted. And it spoke to me about knowing me. What do I want? Not what mommy wants, daddy wants, what my brother and sister want, what my friends, what everything. What do I want? Who am I? Not with that, but. And it just like changed everything for me in that moment.
Welcome, everyone, to F5 Collective Presents Women in Business. Today, I have a very special guest, and it is the wonderful Iona Morris-Jackson. If the Morris sounds familiar, it is because she is my phenomenal and talented sister. She is an actor, director, producer, mentor, coach, absolutely incredible. I am over the moon that we get to speak today and share with you that whole beautiful journey of yourself being your brand and how acting, writing, directing, all of that is entrepreneurial and you are your startup. And so with that, Iona.
Hey, Linda.
Hi, honey bunny.
Sweetheart.
It's really great to have you on, and I'm so excited. And while
I'm so excited for you doing
oh,
this.
thanks.
This is awesome.
This is great. It's been such a joy, and we've had some really extraordinary humans really sharing their story. And while I know your background, I want you to share a little bit about yourself and your upbringing, and where you came from and how all of this amazingness started.
You're too kind. I love you. I was born in Columbus, Ohio, to start off with, to our beautiful parents, Greg and Lee Morris. And from the time I was little, we were little, it was singing and writing and directing little plays. Mom and Dad would go out for a date. They'd go to dinner or to a party. They'd come back and we'd go, okay, sit down. So we wrote this little play. It was just how we grew up. We just loved doing it, being very creative. And I started out writing was my joy, poetry. When I was a little kid, I made my first poetry book when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
And then I was singing and then acting. And I loved all of it. It just all spoke to my creative, out there, just, I started to say my out there personality, but that's not true. I love telling stories by the way of acting and singing. And then years later, I was doing voiceovers, and then a friend of mine saw my one-woman show. And she asked me to direct her one-woman show, and I said, absolutely not. I'm an actress. It's what I do. And then she bugged me for 3 months. I finally just went to a rehearsal, and I sat there. And then my life changed. I saw so much. I'm so detail-oriented. I see everything. And it was so exciting to me. I started messing up on all my auditions that I was going on because all I wanted to do was direct people. And I got on directing one-person shows. I created a niche for myself for Blair Underwood, Penny Johnson-Gerald, Kim Wayans, Tammy Mack from KGLH, so many people, Jennifer Lewis and others. And it's so thrilling to me to get this canvas and then throw in what I see and to watch it blossom and to serve the work they have done. I love it. And so I did that for a long time, and then I hired a social media company. Well, I'm still doing it. Hired a social media company because I couldn't get with social media. People going to restaurants taking pictures of the food, or they're out shopping. I'm like, oh. But everyone's telling me, you really need to create this brand. No. So I find this guy, great guy, 3-month contract. He tells me everything he's going to do. It's fabulous. Then he tells me what the clients he expects from the clients. Like, oh, okay. The last thing he says is, and every client does an Instagram live. And I went, that's not going to happen. Fast forward 2 months and a half later, he goes, Iona, Instagram live. I'm not going to happen. My last week, he says, Iona, just do 30 minutes and just see what happens. So I call our brother Phil. I said, you want to have a conversation? Because he'd done some Instagram lives. He said, sure. So we did that, and it turned into The Vision is Possible.
Yeah.
And I realized that it was something that I'd always wanted to do. No, I didn't realize I admitted to myself. Something I always wanted to do was to talk and to share and to inspire and uplift and to bring whatever I could to people to make their lives, to see how valuable their lives are. And so now I'm here.
Well, you know, The Vision is Possible is a unique experience because of how you speak with your audience and with your guests and what you share of yourself. And what I feel is unique about that also is going back to when you were a kid and what spoke to you about the type of storytelling that you were doing. Because I think that's really important to share with everybody. Because, you know, while you were interested in the writing and the music, you really pursued acting more fervently. And so I'm curious, what was it about the acting and sharing of yourself in that way and telling story in that way that spoke to you so much that you then chose to pursue it as truly your focus of your career?
I loved breathing life into characters. And I only work on projects that are saying something. That in the end, there is something your audience can walk away with, and not just let's go have dinner, but they're having a conversation about. They can relate to either the character I'm playing or something in the story. So I loved singing, but I was a little shyer than I realized. And that was all me naked. And that wasn't so easy for me to do. Poetry is easier because I'm still reciting words. But the acting spoke to me because I get to create a character. I get to come alive as someone else. I get to know how they feel about something. And it's so interesting, Linda, because the one thing directing has given me is a better acting experience. Because as a director, when I'm working with actors, I am very conscious of not telling them what to do. I ask a lot of questions. What do you think about the story? What do you know about what do you think? Have you been a PI in your character in the situation? What history do you have? Blah, 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 blah. And if I see something that I think they can go deeper in, I use a few little clue words to get them there and allow them to explore before I definitely come in with, well. Now, let's see what happens. And I stopped acting for, oh my gosh, I really want to get this one, maybe 15 years.
Yeah.
And I was just directing, and I loved it. And then recently I realized I had to work differently. And so I went, so what do I want to do now? So walking down the hallway of my house, I went, oh, I'm ready to do my poetry now. And then I was walking down the hallway the next week, and all of a sudden, just like a wave came over me of, I want to go back to act. I have to act again. I never thought that would come back to me.
Wow.
I just didn't, because I would work with actors and I'm going, oh, I'm so glad they're doing that. I don't want to venture into that emotion again. I don't want to work that hard. And now I'm so excited about it. My 7th audition, I booked a recurring role on the CBS soap opera Beyond the Gates, working with dear friend, sister friend Tamar Tooney.
Yeah.
Dear, wonderful love friend Clifton Davis, and several new people to me who are just wonderful. And so I'm flying to Atlanta every 2 or 3 weeks, which I didn't think, oh, Atlanta. And now I love Atlanta. It's wonderful. The food, the people, it's a great time. And just to be on the boards again, in a sense, it's fantastic.
Well, you are, you are your brand. So how do you navigate that balance between your creative self and then having to promote your business that is you?
I take that breath because for a long time I did not like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it felt inauthentic.
Mm.
And now what I realize is if I don't do it, people don't know I'm around.
Mm.
They don't know how to find me. They're not going to care the poem I wrote last week, or they're not going to care what I'm doing or what I think. And so I am my camera operator, producer, and everything with the vision as possible. And as I post, I have now learned the way I see social media, the beauty of being able to inspire many people, not just in my neighborhood, but around the world. And it's the only way to connect with so many people. And so I feel it's a gift,
Mm.
as opposed to what I thought was, and almost this false sense of, no, not me, don't look at me, but please hire me and look at
Mm-hmm.
me, but no, not, this thing that we go through. And now it's like, yeah, look over here. I've got what you need. And I'm excited about that. And part of it is being excited about me.
Mm.
And that's something I've learned, and I learn more and more about myself and about life. Dad used to tell us, if you don't think you're good, nobody's going to think you're good.
Yeah.
And he said, that's not ego. It's not conceit. It's being clear. And I'm finding that growing up, I didn't have that, even though he said that. I didn't have that in me. And I think part of it is because there was no one who looked like us wherever we went.
Yeah.
So then I've got to, and what I mean by that, so your audience is clear, is we were pretty much the only black family at any event
Yeah.
of opulence. You could talk, there was Sydney, there was Harry, but they were on the East Coast. And we were here, or we just, crossed paths. Now you have many celebrities who are black and successful, and they've got long money, and that's wonderful. But when we grew up, that wasn't the case. And
Yeah.
so there was I was living in two worlds, one of opulence and success and celebrity, and then the other one where I had to feel like I had to find what was normal about me to make everyone else feel comfortable. And now I don't feel that way.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I want to go to that because we did grow up in a very unique. Well, for us, it didn't feel unique because it was our experience. But to be completely clear, our father was on Mission Impossible, and
The original, not
the
the
original
film,
Mission
the original.
Impossible, not the, and our brother was in the new Mission Impossible, the TV show too. And so growing up with that, and so finding your place in this Hollywood upbringing, finding your voice of your acting, and what was that like for you?
It was a definite journey
Mm-hmm.
to do that, um, to be valued for myself. I think this happens to a lot of celebrity kids, and I see it happen because I was coaching on Blackish of 4 children, 6 years old at the time, maybe 10 and 12, in that range. And we were on the show for 8 years, and there are other children that I've coached. And what I found is I watched how the kids' wardrobe would come over and they tie their shoes. And I was like, they could tie their shoes, but they're tying their shoes. They have not earned that right. It's just because they're on a television show.
Mm.
I saw a woman quit her job because a child said something, and she quit her job because she felt she couldn't do it any longer. And I thought they're just a child. A lot of and now I'm going to get to the point. A lot of celebrity kids, they are given things that they have not earned. And when you haven't earned something, it messes with you when you're given so much,
Mm-hmm.
because you have no foundation. And what was great about our upbringing is that we still had chores to do. We had to clean those dishes at the end of supper. We had to clean and make up our room. We had things we had to do in the summer. We just didn't get to go on vacations and go to camp. There were things that Dad gave us, black biographies to read, a poem to memorize during the summer, things we had to do. We had to know what we were going to do on Saturday by Thursday, by what we were going to do for Friday by Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't come in on Thursday and say, Dad, can we do? Nope, 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 nope. And when Mom called us, it was yes, Mom. It wasn't what. So there were things that we were given that I think created as normal a life as could be in that circumstance.
Yeah.
And yet instill making sure that when I walk in the room that you're looking at me and not my pedigree was very important.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did a lot of soul searching. I'm a very spiritual person. So now I'm a Buddhist, but before I came to that, I did a lot of searching for myself, who I am. That was very important. I remember, Linda, one time I got really sick. Mom had been living with me, and then she went into the motion picture home, and I got real sick. Went to the hospital. Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and then I was taken home, and I was scared to death to be home by myself. And then I'm feeling a little better, but I'm in the bed. I can't. I'm just like writhing in pain, and I'm in my bedroom, and I'm living it by myself. I'm looking at my bedroom and go, I want to paint. I want to get new sheets. What? And I want to get them. What color? What color do I like?
Mm.
And so I spent my moments talking to myself. Who am I? That took me into deeper things about who am I? I'm so busy doing. Have I really spent the time to really look in that mirror, literally and figuratively, to know who I am? Well, when I figured out what colors I wanted and I was feeling better, I went to the linen store. Right there was what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And it spoke to me about knowing me. What do I want? Not what Mommy wants, Daddy wants, what my brother and sister want, what my friends, what everything. What do I want? Who am I? Not with that, but. And it just like changed everything for me in that moment.
Did it also change your work?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
How did it affect your work?
When I work, I become a PI, I'll say as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I become a PI, private investigator. And I go into the character, look at everything that the writer has written, what the director talks about, and then I make up a backstory for there's one, two, blah, 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 blah. I used to stay in my head to remember stuff. Mm. Now I get the information. It's in my body. I trust myself because I know myself. Mm. And I'm my best friend. And I'm not going to mess with me. And I can let all of that in my head go and just be in the moment. Mm-hmm. My breath changes. The way I walk changes. Surprises happen that I don't expect because I'm not analyzing. I'm not watching you watching me. I'm just really here in the moment. And where it used to be scary, it's now so fulfilling just to do that and then see what happens. Because I remember I'd audition or I'd get a job and I was constantly in my head watching to make sure you liked me, to make sure I was doing what you, whoever the you are, wanted me to do. But that's how I get in the way. Mm-hmm. And then I'm judging me and I can't speak my truth. And I've missed so many opportunities in my life, being the oldest and being responsible of making sure everything is fine, because if it's a problem, then I didn't do what I was supposed to do, or being of the first black family somewhere and you've got to act a certain way. And so I'm in the way of what's really happening with me. And it's changed my work so much. It's so much more fun now. It's a different kind of fun.
Yeah.
It was fun before.
Yeah, but yeah, well, I mean, that revelation and that awakening, right?
Yes.
So, I listen to your voice and I do the Iona voice sometimes. I'm good at it. It's so good. It's so, So, what got you into voiceovers, by the way?
Okay.
So, because you've done, and I want to also understand the unique difference between storytelling via voiceover and storytelling via this.
So, Dad, when we were kids, Dad said he never wanted us to be actors
Right, yeah.
in the public eye in that way. And so he'd say, I'm constantly getting calls about you kids, but no, I can do it. Well, one summer he came to me and said, this company called me about they are looking for a little black angel. I was like 9. Yeah, sure, I was 9. And he said, I told them that I would let you audition because I'm not on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And would you like to do that? And I went, sure. So Mom takes me to the audition. I'm in the booth and I'm reading the words. And a voice says to me, as clear as you are speaking to me, this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And I
Wow.
went, whoa. I booked it. I played this little angel, never did it again until college. I left college early. I join a, oh God, what are those? Temporary agency. And the temporary agency gives me a job at KHJ Radio, AM, the rock and roll
I
station.
remember that.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm there and I'm answering the phones. And everyone comes in and goes, who's the girl with the voice? Who's the girl with the voice? The voice, the voice. And then they have me record like coming up on KHJ. And they're like, who's the girl with the voice? And then I go to KNX FM.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and again, the crazy thing is people walk in and they look at me and go, I'm sorry, were you the person who answered the phone? Because they think I'm white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in our house, it was pen, pin, Barry, Berry.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be very clear with your A's, your E's. We had to, okay.
Yep.
And Dad said you could never do any kind of cool language talking until you learn the King's English.
Yep.
And so I took classes, and the first guy I worked with said, continue to take classes and steal from everyone you can. And I remember Dad telling me that in regard to acting. Because when you steal from people, don't worry if anybody steals from you or you steal from them, you're never going to do it like them. You're really being influenced. You're being inspired. You're learning maybe a new technique, something. So I took many classes, and then I took these animation classes. And golly, the woman's name is escaping me. But I took this. I bugged this woman for months. She said, you just have a lot of chutzpah. I went, yeah, I want to get in that class. And then from there, I worked at Hanna-Barbera, then Warner Brothers. Then I became Storm from the X-Men cartoon. I'm the favorite voice of Storm. And okay, so that's how I got into animation. And I did the Ghostbusters and all of this. Played Medusa. And then I'm trying to go back to what you said. Oh, the difference between acting and voiceovers and as an actor where you're being seen is acting and voiceovers. When we used to go to the studio, you could show up in your pajamas and no makeup and your hair all over your head. Didn't matter because nobody saw you.
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
Yeah.
But the difference is, when you're acting with your voice, you might think that it's only your voice, but you're really acting with your whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more difficult to me because you're not seeing my expression. You're not seeing my hands move. All you're doing is hearing my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that has to go into here. And this is very sensitive. So I don't have to talk loud. I don't have to push. This instrument, the microphone and the camera, picks up on every lie, picks up on every pretend. So though we call it acting, voiceover acting, if you are moved by someone, that's really not acting. That's telling someone else's authentic truth. And so the differences, the voiceovers and all that, I'm using all of this still, but I have to contain it and bring it through here.
Right.
The other is I can use all of this.
And you're going to see it.
Exactly. And also in acting with my body on camera, silence is very powerful. silence don't mean nothing when you
When you're doing voice
That's
acting,
right.
that's the point,
Because
right?
they're like, what's going on? You gotta break. Can you tighten it up, please? Can you not draw that line out? Oh, okay. That's when Faster Funnier really does work. You know that. So I did, okay. So I get out of school and I'm going to be an actress, but I got to make some money. So I end up, somebody knew that I did voiceovers. It's in the very beginning of my career. And I come and audition for this company, doggone it, they were on Sunset Boulevard, and they looped foreign films.
Okay.
And they were looping a Japanese anime what? Way back when. I mean, I was 19 at this time, so this is years ago. And an anime called Robotech.
Oh my God, I remember Robotech. I
Okay.
remember you doing Robotech.
So I get the role of Claudia in Robotech. So I'm doing Robotech, and that changed my life. I mean, oh my gosh. That brought anime to America. No, I'm sorry. Anime was here, but it wasn't happening. But that serial cartoon created the frenzy that turned into
Right.
anime. Okay, so that was it. So I did that job. It was really great and met a lot of people, really wonderful. We were a nice little team. Fast forward many years later, I get a call from a gentleman who was one of the directors of Robotech. He says, Iona, they're bringing back this cartoon, X-Men. And I was like, oh, okay. X-Men. He said, we have a character named Storm. She's a superhero. And we've been looking for actresses. And I thought of you. Would you like to audition? I said, sure. So I audition, and I get the job. So I call our brother, who is a comic fanatic. I mean, he's got, lots. So I say, hey, Phil, I just booked this job, and it's for this comic book character. Her name is Storm. He said, come over here right now. Come over right now. So I go over, and he says he didn't do it, but I remember this. He brings me these comics, and he goes, no, I had to put on these gloves. And he pulls them out of the plastic sheath, and he starts to tell me all about the X-Men and Storm, and now I'm like, damn, I'm badass. So I did that, and it was very exciting. And then, and I'll add to that story this is very important. So I then get there, and I've been doing it for months now. It's really been cool. And they hand me what is it? It's a drawing of Storm. And
A cell?
A cell. Mm-hmm. And I look at her, and I ask them to put me in touch with the animator, who's black. Mm-hmm. And I say to him, so I'm seeing her, and she's beautiful. Usually, when things start to become popular, she's going to get lighter. So are you going to keep her brown? Mm-hmm. He said, yes. I promise you I will. So he did, and I was Storm for about 2 years. And then, I won't tell you what happened, but it ended. And that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because she was fun. But there's someone new who's been doing her, and I wish her luck. No, I really wish her well with her.
So, wow. So this is what I also think is interesting about your trajectory with everything that you've been doing, is because you do work with people on their one-person show as well as you doing your own. And I'm curious about that mentorship. That relationship is very different, obviously, between directing someone through a one-person storytelling aspect and multi-camera. And so what are those differences, and how do you adjust yourself as the director, that person that is now in control of these, to work with that?
The one thing I tell everyone about when you're working a one-person show, there's so much to know, but there's one very important thing, and that is to listen.
Mm.
Well, you'd say, well, what are you listening? You're the only one on stage. Yes, and that's why you have to listen. You have to listen to what's coming from the audience. You have to listen to yourself. If you're talking to someone, a lot of one-person shows are I'm having a conversation with someone. I have to really listen. I can't just say the next line. I'm saying to you, so how do you feel today? And I've decided the words you say are I'm fine, and then I keep talking. I'm not listening.
Yeah.
I have to decide who is that character I'm talking to. What do they look like? Are they looking at me? Hey, am I trying to get your attention? How do I feel about them? Because as you listen, your audience is listening with you. They're right there with you. And after a while, they're not just looking at you, but they're like, are you sure there's not anybody else over there?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a special method of how you get into other characters. I worked with Penny Johnson-Gerald, who we love Penny. She's like, oh my God, this is like a dance rehearsal. And I'm like, yes, it is, Penny. But she was just so upset with me while I was going directing a one-person shows. He's like, that's so hard. I'm like, I know. So let's do it again. Because I want to support you for your highest good. Because oftentimes people say, this is me, and then the wall goes up right away, but don't see me. I had a woman who had a show, and she said, this is going to be so hard for your mother. And I went, but how about for you? I said, don't let your mom come see the show at first then. But you got to write that stuff because it's within you. She wrote it. She did it. When her mother finally came, she apologized. Because she saw what she had done, the result of it in her daughter. Her daughter thought her mother, and you never know, would take it as, why would you say that or do that about me?
Yeah.
Her mother saw herself for the first time, and it freed both of them to have a different relationship. So to me, it's also therapy. There's a lot of respect I think actors need to get for the risks they take in sharing themselves. I used to think it used to be where people say it's not brain surgery, but it is heart surgery. Because we're touching people every time we open our mouths in many different ways. So I just want to say that.
We're going to come back to that in a second.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, good. So I told you how the Vision is Possible started with our brother Phil.
Yeah.
And now it's just me.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure whether I was going to continue or how we was going to, and now I'm on fire about it. The Vision is Possible is a podcast where I interview successful people about their lives, and what's more interesting to me is how they got past their no's, how they got past their failures, how they continued pushing forward, and how they continue to. Because so many people go, oh, they said no to me, and my project's no good. Well, there is a saying that God's nodes are God's protection. I'm a Buddhist, but I do like that saying. So for all you know, maybe you didn't want to work for that company. Or that no may give you an opportunity to ask them why. So maybe they can give you something that will help improve your project going to that next yes. And also, you just got to be grateful for those no's because your perfect yes is coming. Perfect example, I interviewed a woman. Oh, I didn't bring all these ladies' names. Okay, that's all right. I had something I wanted to share with you. I interviewed a woman recently, and she is top in the tech world, just top notch. And her company split off into something else, and this other part of her company wanted her to be involved, and she wrote up some things and created some stuff for them and everything and what that role they wanted her to do, and she was so excited. Said to them, she said, "Thank you very much." No, thank you. She, at her level, double six figures, she was, and after she was, for a while, she went, that's okay. That's okay. Something else is coming. And something else did come that was better suited for her and did not mean that she had to be in charge to help somebody learn how to run this. So she set this company up for to find someone great, which they did, and she was allowed to find something else. And she said that on air, And what that does to someone who's like, I just got no on my project, helps them go, phew, okay, let me continue. And that's what I want from the Vision is Possible, is to inspire people to like themselves. As I said earlier, your best friend's looking at you in the mirror, and if you don't have a relationship with that person, you better get one. Because if you don't have a relationship with yourself, you can forget any of those relationships you want outside. Because when you close that door and you're inside that house, that is what is real. That other stuff outside, that wall you put up of being fabulous and wonderful, at some point that's going to crack. It has to. It's the way life is. And so the Visions Possible has been going along. I've gotten some more people with the show, which is great. More audience members, which is wonderful. It's on YouTube. It's at youtube.com/The Vision is Possible. I go live every Wednesday, and I'm also starting now to record on other days so that I can always have something going in case I'm on set and I can't be there on Wednesday night. So if I'm not doing something live Wednesday night, I will for sure upload a recorded episode of interviewing someone. And I love doing it, and I'm growing with it. So I'm finding other things that I want to add to it. I'm a poet, so I want to add poetry some nights. And so I'm having a blast with it.
Did you ever think you'd be doing anything like this?
No, but
And I know you said it's always something you've always wanted to do, except you didn't know it.
no, I never thought. But Dad used to tell me with Connie Chung. Was he said, you could be the next Connie Chung. I'm like, I want to be an actress. And so when I think about that, and I'm like, oh, well, okay, you must have known something. So I never thought, but and you know what? It's really something that's brought on from social media.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
When did you know you wanted to act? I mean, when did you say, I want to do this as a career? I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Huh. First, I thought I was going to be a writer. And that was really fun. And then I started singing. And I thought, oh, I'll write and sing. And then I'm trying to think of when that was. Because I didn't realize that I didn't do any of that in high school. What I did do is direct. And I had totally forgotten about that. College. I got to college, Pitzer College, Claremont, California. I don't know what it was. I think I always wanted to act. I know I did. I always wanted to. But Dad had said he wouldn't let us do it. So I only knew the professional part of acting. I didn't know anything like you could be in a play and not be a professional. I didn't know anything like that. Even though I sang in school, I played Anita and Maria in a compilation of songs from West Side Story. It's quite fab at Hawthorne Elementary School. And so I had a 5-octave range. And so I said, I want to act. And they were auditioning Death of a Salesman. And I was a freshman. And there was this woman who was a junior, and she was the star actress. And so I went to audition. Everyone told me, let's call her Lisa. Lisa's going to get that. It was a black version, black cast. I got the part. George Wolfe, who is an acclaimed writer and director, played Willie Loman. James King played my son, who's a dear friend of ours. Another Lance, who's gone on, played the other son. So I was in rehearsal, and I come home, and I'm talking to Dad, and I'm really scared, and it's really exciting. We're going to open next week. He tells me, this is too much for you. You have to go back and tell them you can't do this. You have to drop out of the play. Wow. I'm like, but Dad, he said, it's too much for you. I'm looking at you. You're so nervous. So I go back, and I'm torn between what my father had said, my desires, how I could let down the company, what to do. So, like every person, when you're in that place, I got sick. 103-degree temperature. But I didn't quit the play. I stayed with the play, invited Mom and Dad. He was not happy. Why do they sit in not only the front row with Aunt Sita and Uncle Bill,
Oh boy.
but there is a requiem that the wife does at the very end
Yeah.
when her husband is dead. And the grave is right where Mom and Dad are sitting.
Oh,
So I'm
boy.
looking at them.
Oh boy.
And first of all, before I go further with that story, being on stage was like I was born.
Mm.
And I still don't know what made me audition. I always wanted to, but there wasn't that drive. But that first day of rehearsal and being on stage, I was born to do that. I knew it.
Mm.
So I'm here talking to my dead husband. And at the end, Dad and Mom come backstage. Dad is weeping.
Hmm. Oh, wow.
He says, "You are so good. You're so good." And then from there on,
Yeah.
I stayed in college 2 years, left to
And you
become
went
an
for it.
actress, and I went for it. Mom was brokenhearted, and so yeah, that's what I did. And then what I learned when I got sick, I didn't get it then,
Mm-hmm.
but as I remember the story, as I go along my life, if I am caught between two worlds, two needs, daddy need, director play need, Iona need, three needs. If I'm caught between that, I'm going to get sick. If I do not calm, breathe, and center myself to connect truly with what I want in life,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get sick.
Yeah.
And that's for everyone. There is nothing I can do. If I were to quit that play, that would have made him, that he would have been satisfied. But he never would have learned who his daughter was, because I stayed with the play, and he learned more about her, and then he supported me. If I quit that play, I don't learn about me. I learned what I really loved and what I want to do. And it doesn't matter what your parents love you, your family loves you, and they only want the best for you. But sometimes the best for you is not the best for you.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to disappoint them in order for them to come in and go, "I knew it, I knew it, oh my God, look at, she can sing, she can dance, I knew it the whole time." They're right there with you when you get your Oscar.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They're right there with you.
I always knew it.
Always knew it. So when I learned that, even now, my husband was not crazy about, because my husband's a musician, as you know well, he travels, and he wasn't touring at the time, but I was going back and forth from Atlanta. And he would see the things he'd say to me. He just, this passive aggressive stuff, like when I came home the first time, I was walking through the kitchen, he said, "If you don't mind, could you make me a cup of tea if you're not too busy?" And I had to take what I learned and know that no matter how he may feel about me being gone and being concerned, am I coming home? Am I going to leave him and move to Atlanta? Because he doesn't know me as an actress.
Right.
So for him,
right.
this is new. For me, this is just, I'm back in the saddle again.
Yeah.
I needed to stay firm in what I wanted and what I was doing. And it made it easier for him before he started touring again, which was a wonderful place for us to get to.
Yeah.
Before he goes, you know.
Wow. Well, I think one of the last things I want to ask you about before we get into the BizFit minute and all that fun stuff is the world of AI and the effect it is having on the entertainment industry and on you as a business person within that, whose brand is that. So what have you seen with that? How is it affecting you, or how is it affecting you?
Well, there are many answers to that. One is, I do not want to see me in something where I have not physically been there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very concerned about what that does to us as actors. You know, there is an AI actress out there now that agents are vying for. I think that that is a wonderful medium. It should be separate. It should have maybe its own category at the Emmys and at the Oscars and at every other award show.
Mm.
It should not be mixed in with human beings. Um, I have a problem with AI in social media. When I'm gone on and someone's going to tell me about how to make the Jello to lose weight, which I'm still, what is that recipe? And if you're on social media enough, you'll see a black woman tell you, see a white woman tell you, you see an Asian, you see this, you see that, you see all of this going on. And I have a problem with that because I'm looking for truth, and that's not truth.
Mm.
So then I go past it. But I grew up in the world of what I call truth. So I'm concerned about the young kids now who didn't and what their relationship is to that. I have a girlfriend who jokingly told me that her GPT is now called Max because he talks to her. And she's been able to work all this stuff with him. Okay. But then I talk to others who are like, oh my God, I can ask the most personal questions of ChatGPT. And I go to restaurants and see people on their phones and they're not relating. So my concern is the human connection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more concerned with humans and what we think about AI than what AI is going to do, because AI is going to do what it's going to do.
Right.
The woman who I spoke about, who was really a wonderful mogul within this industry, she helped me understand that I need to make friends with that because it ain't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I am learning how to best use it for my usefulness in my podcast to help me make it snazzier, to help me reach more people.
Mm-hmm.
I am the alpha dog, not AI. And that's what I feel we need to remember. And also, there's a human connection. If I have AI, I can't touch your hand. I can't feel you. I can't touch AI.
Yeah.
I miss, that's something to miss, that human interaction. And if we learned anything from COVID and being in lockdown, we learned that we can only survive with another interaction with another human being. Not on the phone, not on Zoom, with touching each other, smelling each other, being in each other's company. So I'm concerned about it for writers. I'm concerned about it because those who are money people, who are not creative people, don't give a crap about those of us who are up 24 hours getting that story right before we send it in.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about that. But again, it goes back to the human being and what they think about actors, what they think about writers, what they think about that, and what they feel their bottom line is the most important thing. It is not. I just interviewed a woman who I want to introduce you to, named Kaylin Jenkins, who is the COO of Gravelous, which is Gravelous Inc., which is an amazing company. It's been around for 25 years. A lot of posters you see for Sinners, some Stephen Spielberg,
Oh, okay.
they do that, marketing. They're incredible. Their philosophy about their workforce is we are a team. Problem comes up, we're all jumping in to fix it. She doesn't get in the way of Kenny Gravelis, who is the creator and the creative person. She doesn't get in the way of him. He doesn't come in on her end. And together they're strong in what they know. They bring it together. They are a team. They make sure that their creators are happy. No one comes to where you have a problem. Not necessarily do we need to talk about it, but do you need a moment? It's very important to them that their workforce are happy. They get more work out of them. They are more connected in helping each other. All of this, the way our world, our country is going right now, with making worker bees and getting rid of higher education, that's dumbing down America. That does not make a happy workforce. It does not make a strong workforce. That's a workforce that eventually will go against you because somebody's not going to like the way they're treated.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is the most important thing, how we treat. So AI is fantastic. The things I see it do, oh my God, it's amazing. Now it's up to us humans to be responsible with the toy.
Yeah.
And to care more about each other.
Yeah. That's Well, that is good. That's a good point. So, the state of, if, as you look at the state of the entertainment business now, and I mean that across performance on every level, whether it's theater or um, live television or film or whatever the state may be. As you look at it now, if you were coming into it now, um, what, and I know that you've come back to it, but you've not ever left it. You may be coming back to it acting wise, but um, how would, how do you perceive it? But I mean, how would you approach it?
Huh. Well, let me start here and see if I can get to that. The business is still finding out who and what it is.
Mm.
We had COVID, we had
Mm-hmm.
the strike, and then when the strike was over, we all thought we were going back to work. But aha, the producers had something more in mind. I won't call them vindictive, but they fired a lot of people.
Yeah.
They scaled back a lot. So shows that thought, now we're back to work, they're gone. Reputable veterans,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So, and in California, Los Angeles, Hollywood, that had all of this work, it was everything, so much was being done here, and the very few things that were in Virginia or Atlanta, few things Canada started, and we were worried about Canada, but then phew, Canada didn't really take over. So we can have both of them can be powerhouses. Well, now people have moved out. Marvel's in London. Other people are moving to Europe. It is fascinating to me how people can shoot across the pond and it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what happens with arrogance to me of we're going to make more money from you and the powers that be go. After they have to acquiesce to what you say, they just pick up their toys and they go somewhere else.
Mm.
So the business is very different. There used to be you could do a commercial and you can make a lot of money. Now there are some actors that have 2 and 3 jobs and they're still working because we're not getting paid the same thing we used to get paid. I had no idea that I would be paid more when I was younger, working a lot, than in recent times.
Yeah.
It is not the same. And so coming into this business, for me, when I think about it now, it's still the same. Study, study, study.
Mm.
You might be cute and you might have a personality. And maybe you could come out and you could get that first audition or that third audition. But I promise you, if you want to have any sort of longevity, you've got to study in some way. If it's not in a classroom, it is the way you watch other films and you're studying other actors. Or you've got a coach.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a craft. It's like, you and I are both cooks. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
you can cook good, but you really need to, at some point, really follow that recipe for the first time to know what needs to be done before you start adding something different to
Yeah.
it. You're a singer? Study. You want to be a director? Study. Are there people who come with natural talent? Of course. That's your calling. I'm not, the way I am in life is not because I'm an actor, because I'm a director. I've had people say to me, oh, you throw parties that way, or you do that this way because you're an actress or a director. No, I do that, and that affects my craft.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't go the other way around. So I think getting into this business is pretty much the same thing. The difference is when I was growing up in the business, it was actress, singer, dancer.
Right.
Now it's actor, writer, producer, director, podcaster, coach. Whatever you want to do, you can do if you really want to do it. And are you going to start off at the top? Hopefully you won't, because that will jade you.
Mm-hmm.
You learn as you grow up. There are people I know who have started at the bottom. Well, guess what? They know what, when they become the CEO, when they become the producer, when they become the director, they know what the person in the mailroom is supposed to do. They know what the person, the PA is supposed to do. So when they hire people, they'll know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And that's very important. So right now I'd say, as far as getting into the business, it's the same. It's just now you can widen. I can take. Oh, I was going to pick up my phone, which is not there. Sorry, I'm so used to it. Now you pick up your pretend phone, and you can make a
Yeah.
whole movie.
Yeah.
Those are things that are different. You truly now do not have to wait for someone to tell you you're valuable, you're viable to be creative. And I remember that's why I started writing one person shows, because I got tired of waiting for that doggone phone to ring. And I was lucky, I was auditioning a lot and I was doing stuff. But there was a 2-month period where I didn't have one audition. I thought my life was over. And that's when I started writing one person shows. So no one had to tell me that I could be creative. If you are doing this to make money, get out now. Forget about it. If you're doing this because you have to be creative, you've got a story to tell, however it is, writing, singing, dancing, directing, or all of them are the same. Pick up your phone, do it, call your friends up, do it. It does not have to be perfect, because you learn with each project you work on. Now that is different about getting in the industry now, because you can put up these now verticals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I wish someone would come out with a good one, because all I see are mean verticals. They're beating up on women. They're slapping women. They're getting married. I'm getting married to this woman over you. Oh, just terrible. They're terrible. They're terrible. But so there are more markets and possibilities now, especially where you can reach across the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And look at Bollywood, India. Look at Nollywood in Nigeria. South Africa. There is great filmmaking all over this world. It's not just in Hollywood. And just because you are an American does not mean that this is your tribe.
Hmm.
You may need to seek your tribe in Canada or in England or some other parts of the world.
Wow. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very cool perspective.
Wow,
Thanks.
thank you. That was
Yeah.
from my sister. Any problem or challenge is an opportunity, because I promise you that you can freak out for like an hour, okay, a day, and then get over it and say it's all for my highest good, because I promise you what will come out of it is something better than what you even thought. Know the best friend you have is the one that's looking at you in the mirror. If you don't have that relationship together, get it together. Breathe. Breath exercises are amazing, because when you're breathing in yourself, you're breathing in all of the good stuff in the world, a lot of creativity. Exercise, move your body. I see people and they hurt, and I said, well, stretch out your legs, you exercise. They go, but I hurt. Because you're not exercising. And being in control of your body, knowing your body, is the best. Makes you stronger. Journal. Journaling is so important. Writing down your thoughts, putting every secret thing in that diary that you don't share with others, because you get to know yourself better and you get some of that guck out. Don't give up on yourself. It's okay. It's okay that you did something wrong. All of us do something wrong. It's not that you fall, it's how you get up. And support yourself. Remember, pat yourself. Sometimes you got to stop and go, I'm good at what I do. You got to do that. And then finally, believe in you. Because if you don't believe in you, no one else is going to. When you believe in you, you show other people how to believe in you and how to treat you.
That was lovely.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
You're very welcome.
You ready for your rapid five?
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
Iona Morris-Jackson.
Yes.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
A hairdresser?
I had no idea.
Yes. When I was
Really?
5 years old, I came, mom would, she'd roll our hair,
Yeah, roll
everything,
her
and do
hair.
it. At 5 years old, I came out, put my hands on my hip. I looked right at mom and I said, I rolled my hair up. She was like, I said, you will never touch my hair again. So I learned everything I need to know about doing my hair, and that's what I thought I wanted to be.
Okay. That's the best. I love that. What always makes you smile?
I could say my grandson, which is truth, was actually my husband. That's how I fell in love with him. He cracks me up. he makes me laugh, and we were dating, and I laughed one time, and I went, I love him. He always makes me smile.
Oh boy. Okay, I like that. What do you know now as an adult that you wish you knew as a kid?
That I am valuable. That I am worthy of love, and worthy to be who I want to be. I wish I'd known that. Then I would have stopped trying to make everyone like me.
There is that, isn't it? What is your guilty pleasure?
Sorry.
That was a very geeky moment, by the way.
Kiki's our grandmother. I have a couple. One is potato chips.
Well, okay, what kind? Kettle potatoes or what kind?
I love kettle. Honey mustard is my favorite.
Okay.
But also cheesy Doritos. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, those are my guilty
So like
pleasures.
nacho cheese Doritos?
Nachos, cheese
and,
Doritos, and honey
honey
mustard kettle chips. I once got some kettle chips, and they weren't as full as regular. I wrote a letter to the company. They sent me a bunch of kettle chips with an apology.
Oh my gosh. That's so you. It's so perfectly you. And then finally, cat or dog?
Cat.
Yep. Which is so, okay, so that people understand, our mother was terrified of cats, and so we weren't able to have cats growing up. And then I think the rest of us kind of grew away from cats, but you did. You liked cats. I mean, I like all animals, but yeah, you were a cat person. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dogs are great. I love to see them. I don't mind if they jump on me as long as they're not knocking me over.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not too strong. What I don't like are owners who are like, "Oh, he likes people." And I'm like, "He's jumped my clothes all over me. It's hurting me." But yeah, I like cats.
Okay. All right. There we go. That's your rapid five.
Thanks.
Iona, thank you so much for hanging out today. I really, really appreciate it. It was just an honor to have you.
It's an honor for me to be here. And I just want to say, Linda, you asked terrific questions.
Oh, thank you.
Really wonderful, so insightful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I've learned from some pretty interesting folks over the years. Yeah. And to all of you, thank you so much again for joining us for another episode of F5 Collective Presents Women in Business. Iona Morris-Jackson, the wonderful Iona Morris-Jackson, was our guest today. And a link to find out more about Iona will be in the description below. We will be back next week. And again, thank you for joining us, and thank Iona. See you next time.
Thank you, sweetie. Bye.